How to never have an urge for porn again. I'm assuming you've been trying to get over your addiction, but you keep on battling unexpected urges that just surprise you out of nowhere. What I want to show you is it's possible and totally realistic to never deal with an urge ever again in your life and simply move on from relapsing. And this is simply due to the fact that an urge isn't actually real. It's an intentional creation of your mind. And you can actually figure out how to have absolute power over urges and ensure that you never have one for porn ever again. When I was trying to quit my own addiction, for me, urges was the most difficult thing ever. I was doing everything else correctly, yet I couldn't stop myself from wanting porn in particular moments. And that all changed when I discovered how to overcome urges. And after that, I was able to get over my addiction extremely easily. And I'm hoping to show how you can do the same thing. So first of all, I want to show you why the idea of an urge is actually a myth that you're keeping alive through your own choice. Now, I think you should eradicate the word urge from your personal dictionary because it's totally wrong and misleading. People believe that an urge is this like spontaneous, uncontrollable, like moving or desire to partake in like porn or any other activity, when in reality, it's simply just a product of your decisions and what you believe will benefit you in particular situations. Let me explain. So you don't actually get urges out of nowhere, right? You create urges by actively wanting porn. And the reason is because in any particular situation you get an urge, you should begin seeing it as you simply believe that in that scenario, considering what you need and how you're feeling, responding to that scenario with porn is the most enjoyable thing you could be doing. This is what your brain does whenever it's in any scenario, right? We're always looking for a solution, the correct response to whatever we encounter in life. And in the moments that you end up using porn, that's simply because your brain has been habitually trained into believing that porn is the best solution for whatever situation it's being put in at the moment. And this can be changed. And in particular, the only reason that your brain believes that porn is the best response in any of these scenarios, whether it's like nighttime when you're about to go to bed or like when you're extremely bored with nothing to do, the reason that your brain just short circuits into choosing porn is just because a very long time ago, you have just solidified this belief that, okay, porn provides certain benefits in this scenario. For example, when you're bored, you decided for the first time to begin watching porn. And when you did that, you were like, okay, a benefit of this is that I'm not bored anymore. So your brain kind of writes that down. It gets injected into your subconscious mind and becomes a habit. So the next time that you're bored or whatever scenario you find yourself in, based on, your past learnings in regards to porn, your brain will just immediately compel you to want porn because you believe that it will be a good solution to the situation you're put in. So understanding this, we know that urges don't exist. If you get an urge for porn, that's simply because your brain believes that in this current situation that you're in, the best response for the most pleasure and the most enjoyment is simply watching porn. And we can dive deeper into the benefits that lead you into thinking this. Now, you may not consciously agree with the benefits of porn. You yourself might say, "Oh, porn does nothing for me. I actually hate it." Right? When I'm watching it, I just feel disgusted. It's not even fun anymore. But the issue is that deep down in your brain, you've just, through like repeated use of porn, you've just conditioned yourself into believing these benefits. And remember, since you taught yourself them, you can also unteach yourself them. So it's nothing to worry about. It can always be unlearned. So the only reason you actively want porn in a specific scenario is because your brain has just been conditioned through past experiences to believe that there are benefits in responding to that scenario with porn. And these things can be changed. You can totally eradicate the benefits your mind believes about porn and instead create benefits for other activities, other alternative activities that will allow you to naturally quit. And then because your brain sees no benefit in porn, but immense benefit in other alternative options, you'll actually get urges to not watch porn because in that scenario, watching porn won't help you at all. It's just like a waste of time. It's a no-brainer to not watch porn. So understanding this and applying this perspective of not having these uncontrollable urges that happen to you, but instead the intentional choice of actively wanting porn based on your past experiences and the beliefs that you're instilling into your brain, that will allow you to overcome the first trap in porn addiction, which is believing you're out of control. And then simply everything else is just changing the way you think. So now that you understand that urges are an actively chosen process, I'm going to break down the selection of a response in a situation and how you can change what you want to respond with from porn into something else. So you'll naturally end up wanting to not watch porn. So I was talking about this before, but I'll break it down further. So our brain is kind of like an algorithm, and whenever it encounters some type of circumstance or scenario, right? So an example of this could be you get home from school, you're bored, you have nothing to do, and you're chilling in your room. Or for example, you're about to go to bed, you're tucked in at night, yet you can't fall asleep, right? So we encounter all these scenarios in our day-to-day life, and our brain is always looking for the best response that will give us the most happiness and the most overall enjoyment to maximize, our human desire to be happy creatures. So what our brain does is that when we encounter one of the scenarios, like I said before, we consider the possible options we could respond with. So for example, when I was talking about you're bored after school, one option could be reading a book, the other could be doing homework, the other option could be playing video games, the other option could be calling a friend, or an option could be porn, right? And what your brain does is that it runs this algorithm. It analyzes the benefits and compares the benefits of every single option. And then that will end up leading to it choosing the one that it perceives as having the most benefits, right? And then an urge is simply the fact that your brain sees porn in particular as the most beneficial thing it could be responding to a situation with. So to rewrite the option you end up choosing and the urge you get, right? We have to begin changing the benefits we have imprinted in our mind in regards to all of the options that you could be doing, including porn. And this is an important point that I want to add really quick. You need alternative options to porn. Because think about this. If you're not going to watch porn, you have to do something else. You can't just sit around and do nothing, right? So you need something else to fill your time. You can't have a vacuum, pretty much. And additionally, you need another option to compare the enjoyment and benefits of porn, kind of like a reference point, right? If the only thing you could do is watch porn or not watch porn, you can't really measure how valuable porn is. You need at least one other option, ideally as many as possible, so you can get a full picture of what responses there are to be offered to you. So back to what I was saying, the way that you change your response and the response that your brain makes you desire is through analyzing the benefits of each and every single option. And to simplify, basically, you have to reduce the benefits of porn, right, and increase the benefits of all other options. So that way, when your brain analyzes the benefits, it will automatically place porn at the very lowest spot. So it will see no reason to watch porn. Because if you genuinely believe porn is like this silly, dumb thing that is just an absolute waste of time, you wouldn't want it in any scenario. Regardless of how convenient or accessible porn is, if it's gonna do nothing for you, you're not gonna want it at all. Now, rewriting the benefits for porn and your other options isn't like an overnight process. It takes repetition and multiple experiences and probably trial and failure. Doesn't necessarily mean it's hard, but you are dealing with your mind, which is a habitual mechanism. So you do have to train it with repetition. And really, to change the benefits in porn, you really have to list down the reasons you think you watch porn in the first place. Now, the ones that come to my head in particular are curing boredom, relieving stress or maybe sadness or anger, and also just trying to attain pleasure, right? Our search for dopamine and stuff. So these are just some of the benefits I came up with, which I think resonate with my experience with porn, but you can come up with your own, especially the ones that matter the most to you. And really all you have to do is diminish the benefits that you see in porn by really just doing critical thinking and analyzing your past experiences with porn. Is it really that enjoyable? Does it really cure my stress? Right? You have to be open-minded. You shouldn't want to depend on porn and always have it in your life, or else you're going to be biased and end up ranking the benefits of porn higher than they should be so you can keep on watching them. You have to be unbiased with an open mind and just looking to change what you believe, honestly. So I actually want you to apply what I taught you in this video so you can destroy your urges. I don't want you to just forget all of it and then move on and get stuck in the same cycle. So that's why I provided some actionable steps. So the first one, like I was saying in the beginning, you have to totally destroy the idea of urges and instead just replace it with the fact that you're actively wanting porn, right? So like, for example, the next time you experience an urge, don't say, oh, I'm getting an urge. Instead, you should say, oh, so right now I'm actively wanting porn because my brain thinks that watching porn is the most beneficial response to the particular situation I'm in. And that can be changed by analyzing the benefits I see in porn and my other options. And through repetition, I will be able to change my brain's perception of these options and change what it wants. And additionally, like I was saying, you have to begin rewriting the benefits of all of your options. In particular, you have to decrease the benefits of porn so it looks unappealing and not irresistible. And you have to increase the benefits of other options so your brain will naturally want to partake in these other options. And you'll actually feel urges to do things that aren't watching porn. And yeah, just overall, you have to stay self-aware and open-minded while doing this. If you're trying to be closed off and stay stuck to porn because you still depend on it in a way, then you won't be able to diminish the benefits of porn because you're still feeding off of it. So you have to truly be willing to take a leap and consider happiness in quitting. And this is especially important during the critical situations where your decision determines whether or not you get over your addiction, right? Like in the times you know that you're very susceptible to porn, you have to be questioning the benefits and actively thinking in different ways. You can't depend on your mental reflexes all the time. Sometimes you have to take what's on autopilot and then consciously direct it in a different direction through your own deliberate thinking. And if you do all of that, you have successfully killed porn urges.